Hey everyone, it's Sydney. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I talk about my experience going to prison and just some tips that helped me get through it. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. But yeah, today I am going to talk about pen pals in prison. I did have quite a few pen pals. Some I just talked to like a little bit, and some I would talk to pretty much throughout my whole stay in there. And it was really nice. Like, it was cool just to have conversations with people that weren't the people in the prison with me, or like my immediate friends and family that I stayed in contact with throughout my time in there. So yeah, I actually met some really cool, amazing people, and I'm super grateful for that. I kind of expected it to be like a bunch of weirdo creepos, and some of them were for sure, but surprisingly, I met like a lot of actually really cool, genuinely good people through having pen pals. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Before going in, I had kind of seen just from watching other people's YouTube videos about their prison experience that like having sugar daddies in prison is like a thing. Because I was watching a lot of videos for the like month leading up to me going to prison just to get kind of a feel of what I was getting myself into, because I really had no idea. I had never even really been to jail before besides like one day when I actually got arrested, and then I was fighting it out in court for like a year before finally figuring out that like prison was my destiny, and knew exactly what day I was going to be going into prison because I like turned myself in, got sentenced, and then went. I didn't really like think about doing anything like that until I was in receiving, which is where like you first stay for your first like 3 to 4 weeks of being in prison before you get classified and either put into maximum security or minimum security. And while I was in receiving, I got roomed with these two girls who were totally cool, but they were like, should we tell her about Steve? And they told me about this guy that one of the girls had been talking to, like over the phone and stuff. Apparently she got his number from a girl that she was in county jail with, and he was like her sugar daddy, pen pal, and he had been like pen pals with a few other girls in that county jail. But he was like totally helping her out financially, like sending her a bunch of money, buying her books, like anything that she needed. He was like there for her. He was just this older guy that was really nice and like not even looking for anything weird. Like, he was just trying to help her out. And he even had like male pen pals in like the men's prisons. He had a bunch of pen pals all over the place, and he would just help them out financially and talk to them and just like be a source of comfort for them. I mean, it's hard in prison, it really is, and it's difficult, and sometimes you just need someone to talk to. So he was kind of there for her and was helping her out financially. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I like started to hear more and more about like all these websites that you can get put on to basically find yourself a pen pal. And so I had my friend put me on this website called Caged Ladies, and she made a little profile for me with like a picture and just said like some of my interests, what like who I am as a person, and just kind of said like looking for someone to help me through this tough time. I'm not gonna lie, my intentions for making it was totally so that like random people would send me money. And I started to get messages on JPay, which is like basically an online prison communications, and we had like kiosks in the prison where we could like send messages and stuff like that. So I started to get some messages of people, and there was like every type of person sending me messages. Some of them were really weird, some of them were nice. At first I was definitely like talking a certain way to try to get people to like send me money, but it just felt so like disingenuous, and like I just felt wrong for doing it. So I stopped because I was like, okay, this is just not me at all. Some people can do it. One girl in like the prison where I spent pretty much all my time, which was the second prison I was at, she had like so many sugar daddies. She was talking it up on the phone, calling all these guys baby, like having them buy her a bunch of things, send her a bunch of things, and like put a bunch of money on her books. And like, good for her. But I just can't do that. Like, I can't fake it. I'm not that type of person. Like, what you see is what you get with me. So even though I tried for like a couple days, I was just like, no, this isn't me. Once I stopped like trying to be that way, I started just actually like getting more and more messages from people that I just wanted to have a conversation with, and they were really cool. Seriously, I was so surprised at like the different type of people that would message me. I had one pen pal that was like the same age as me, a college student, and he was just super cool. We would write letters in the mail mostly, until towards the end we just kind of switched to JPay because it was easier. And he would like print out memes and send them to me, and we would just talk about like college life and everything under the sun, like talked about a bunch of different things. I had another pen pal that really like started to challenge me intellectually, because in prison it's very much the same conversations over and over again. Pretty much the one thing that everyone has in common in prison is that they either commit crimes or do drugs, obviously both, but if they are doing drugs, obviously they committed a crime too. So that was kind of like the general topic of conversation for most people, and if it wasn't, it was just very like surface level conversation. So I wasn't really getting that like intellectual stimulation that I really love. Like I truly enjoy having genuine, deep conversations with people, and this one guy, like really, we would talk about everything and anything, and it was just really, really nice. Yeah, whole different types of people that I would talk to and that were really cool. And then some were just like such nice people. They like wanted to help me out. I wasn't like acting any sort of way. I was just being honest and like talking about my situation, like telling them the kind of like books I was interested in. Like one guy was like, I really want to send you some books that I think you will like. And I did love them. Like seriously, one of them now is like my favorite book, and I read it all the time, just like whenever I need some sort of inspiration. It's kind of like a self-help book. But yeah, and as I started to build more of like a actual like friendship with these people, they wanted to help me out, and I never felt like wrong if I did like actually really need something, asking them, because I knew that they were happy to help, and it didn't feel like I was being manipulative or like saying something just to get money out of people. So when that started to become the way I went about things, it actually totally worked in my favor. Like not only did I have really great conversations, but they also did help me out. There was also a lot of weirdos. Like one guy was one of the first people that messaged me, and he straight up was like, hey, I found your profile. I'm looking for someone to be the mother to my children, and don't bother asking me for money because I'm not going to give my money to a complete stranger. And I'm like, okay, you're not gonna give your money to a complete stranger, but you want them to be the mother of your children? Like, and so I was very curious about this dude, right? So I'm like asking him a bunch of questions, like, first of all, what made you choose a prison website to try to look for your future wife? And he told me that the women on Plenty of Fish were too complicated. And he would like ask me a bunch of questions like, please reply with your height and your weight, and do you do drugs? Do you have any tattoos? And it's like, I don't know, like I hope he finds the one, but I like stopped replying to him. And then like a few weeks later he like messaged me, he's like, I hope I didn't say something wrong, you were the best girl that I talked to. And I was like, dude, you're a weirdo. Plus I don't even want kids, so I was like, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time, dude. Like I am so not interested. But yeah, some people were just so ridiculous. And I just couldn't stand it. Like one guy was like an older dude, and he was like talking to me, and he was like, if you're not interested in a relationship, that's totally fine. Like I'm just happy to be friends and like talk. And I was like, yeah, like totally, like I'm not really the type of person to just like start pursuing a relationship with someone that I met online. Plus this guy was like way older, lived in a different state, and was just like, we were on totally different paths, and like I didn't really see that as like an option for me. But he kept like, as we were talking more and more, started to tell me that he liked me and like that he really wanted to be with me and all this stuff. And I would just kind of like ignore that part of the message because I didn't even know how to act about it, but I thought I was being pretty clear that like that wasn't something I was interested in. And then finally he just asked me straight up like, are you interested in me? And I was like, honestly, no, like I don't think that I am in any position to be in a relationship with anyone right now. Like I'm here to work on myself. And he said that like that was fine initially, and then he said like, I don't want to waste any more of my time talking to you, like that's not what I'm looking for. And it's like, okay dude, like that's great. And then we stopped talking, but it was just, yeah, a lot of weirdos, but it was like entertaining. Like it really I would get so excited every time I got a new letter in the mail or a new message on JPay. And yeah, surprisingly a lot of people like around my age from all over the place, and it was just fun to talk to people, you know. One guy I talked to like a couple times, and then he like got really drunk one night and like sent me all of these like he sent me like this long ass message about like how he was having problems with his girlfriend and he didn't know what to do, and he was looking to me for advice because I am the type of girl that he really like admires and could see himself with. And I like gave him some really good advice like about like him and his girlfriend. And then he like replied a few days later and he was like, I am so embarrassed, I just realized that I sent you that message, like I'm so sorry. And I was like, dude, it's fine, like I am literally the last person to judge, like I'm in prison, right? So it was funny, it was a good time. One guy messaged me just like a really simple message. I replied. We had maybe like a exchange of like 2 messages each, and then all of a sudden he put $100 on my account, and he said that he was doing like a penance, which I looked up in the dictionary because we didn't have internet, and that is basically like something that Catholic people do to basically like repent for their sins. And he was like, so you benefited from that? And then I looked at my account and he had literally put $100 on my books. And so that was really nice. And then he also told me if I needed any more help, you could get like these packages where you could buy like different things. Like they had a property package where you buy like shoes and like hair stuff, straighteners, curlers, hairbrushes, a bunch of things you could get, right? Like hair clippers, you could get makeup, lamps, just like random things that were really useful. And so I like made him a list of things that I wanted. I basically just got a bunch of makeup for like when I had visits or took pictures. And then he also got me some shoes to wear to the gym and a pair of like sandals for just wearing around and to use as like shower shoes. So that was like super nice. And then he basically ended up telling me that he couldn't be my sugar daddy anymore because he wanted to only spend money on his girlfriend that he had, and he just got engaged to her and they were trying to save up for a house. And I was like, okay, that's fine, like thank you so much though for like, that was like really nice. And that was really cool because I literally wasn't trying at all, like he just like was being kind and offered me those things. So yeah, I did have a lot of like weird experiences with it and just like weird conversations and like weird people, but I also did like have a few people that like stuck with me through everything. One guy gave me like a bunch of really good advice. He had been to prison and was just kind of always sending me like encouraging positive messages and would like look stuff up online for me and talk to me about like advice for getting a job when I get out. And also, John, if you're watching this, I tried to write down your email and phone number before I left, and then I left that piece of paper in my cell, so please reach out to me if you see this because I want to get in contact with you, but I lost all of your contact information. So yeah, I also had some girls message me. Apparently there was like a TikTok going around about prison pen pals, and so a couple girls reached out to me too and said that they like saw it from TikTok or they were interested in it for one reason or another because of what they were studying in school or whatever. But that was just like super cool. Like I made some new friends, you know? If that's something that you ever want to like consider doing, I totally recommend it. Like go find someone to talk to. You can look up a bunch of different websites. I was on Caged Ladies, which I think looking on the website now is only for like Washington women, because pretty much everyone on that website I recognized. But there's like writeinmate.com. I don't know, you can literally just Google like prison pen pal websites and look at people's profiles, and then you could either send them a letter in the mail or you can message them on JPay. It does cost money. You have to like buy stamps and then send the email using stamps, but it's like pretty cheap. And then just make sure you send them a prepaid reply so that they can reply back to you, because a lot of people don't have like stamps saved in their library because they need them sent to them. Another thing to keep in mind, if you are interested in like helping people out financially, you can only put money on the account of one person like for their whole time in there. So you can't put money on someone's books and then put more money on another person's books. Like, you can only have it be one, which is the stupidest rule in the world. Like, what if two siblings are in prison together, or like someone has multiple friends in prison and they want to help both of them out? They have to pick one, and you can also be on one person's visitor list only, which is just so stupid. And I found that out the hard way because this one guy, one of the first people that I was messaging on JPay, he actually like found my account because he was friends with a girl that was in the same prison as me, and she told him about the website, and then he looked at the website, found my profile, and messaged me. And this was when I had first gotten there, so I didn't really know anyone, but I actually became pretty good friends with that girl. But it was super awkward at first because he put $10 on my books and then it got rejected, and then all the money that he had been putting on her books got rejected because you're only allowed to put it on one person's account. And so that was like a really awkward conversation for me to have with her, because this was like her friend and she was getting money from him, and then suddenly it got rejected and she didn't know what was going on or why. And so I had to go up to her and be like, hey, like, I'm pretty sure this is what happened, like, sorry. And it was kind of awkward, but then we became friends and it was all good. But you can definitely have hardcore sugar daddies in prison if you have the mindset for it. Like I said, I don't really, like, I can't really fake it. I can't pretend who I am or like act like I'm this damsel in distress when I'm really not. Yes, I was like struggling in there financially. I didn't have a job in there for majority of my time. Like, I wasn't having people putting money on my books every single week, but I managed to like get through it, and I just felt kind of uncomfortable like asking strangers for money, you know. But if you do have that sort of mindset of not really giving a fuck, like, there are plenty of people out there that are like totally willing to give you the world, just as a little tip in case you are ever planning on going to prison. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience of what it was like to have pen pals in prison. It was honestly the best. I had such a fun time messaging new people and getting to know people and just talking about a bunch of different things and getting connected with people that I would otherwise never have met, and our paths would have never crossed, you know? So that was really cool. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.